Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Earlier this week, I delved into the prospects of the child tax credit payments making a comeback. I discussed how many lawmakers are currently debating the possibility of introducing new legislation to reinstate these payments. However, I want to be crystal clear about one thing. The chances of these payments returning in 2023 are quite slim. There's almost no way they could happen in 2023. Perhaps 2024 is a possibility, but not at the start of the year. Let me explain why. But first, let's address a more significant issue. President Biden is advocating for the revival of the child tax credit payments. I'll break down the current situation in today's video. By the way, if you could spare just 2 seconds, please hit that like button. It really helps our channel grow. So, what's the major issue at hand? The Senate's bipartisan approach to the government funding bill is putting immense pressure on both the divided House and the Senate. Despite being a Democratic majority, the Senate is attempting to craft a bill that the House of Representatives is likely to reject. The House is aiming for a bill that is approximately $100 billion less than what the Senate is proposing. This is one of the primary hurdles. Additionally, there are various other contentious issues being pushed, such as inquiries into President Biden's potential impeachment and further reductions in spending beyond the initial $100 billion. Consequently, some experts are warning that this government shutdown could become the costliest one ever. Let's take a look at some charts to illustrate this point. If we examine this chart here, it shows previous government shutdowns and their impacts on the markets. The 2018-19 shutdown was particularly costly, primarily due to the border wall dispute between former President Donald Trump and Congress. This shutdown lasted almost a month, from December 22, 2018 to January 25, 2019. Goldman Sachs has provided a baseline expectation of a 2 to 3 week shutdown, which many in Washington believe is an underestimate. Such a duration would already rank among the longest shutdowns in history and could result in a loss of approximately $3 billion. So how does this relate to the child tax credit payments? Well, it matters because the longer the government shutdown persists, the more likely it becomes that government employees, including those responsible for processing payments, might decide to stay home until they receive their overdue paychecks. This situation would have a significant impact. Now, back to the child tax credit payments. President Biden wants $23 billion for Ukraine, an additional $12 billion to combat COVID, and $100 billion for the expansion of the child tax credit. However, it's doubtful that the funds for Ukraine, COVID, or the child tax credit expansion will be allocated this time. Republicans also support the child tax credit payments but want to introduce work requirements, a proposal that Democrats have opposed. Regarding the impact of the child tax credit, a recent Census Bureau study showed that the supplemental poverty rate in the country increased to 12.4% in 2022, up by 4.6% from the previous year. The most striking statistic was that child poverty rate more than doubled to 12.4% in 2022, from 5.2% in 2021. It's important to note that we're 1 year behind in obtaining these figures, so the situation may be even more dire than we currently know. What might happen in the coming months, at least until January, is more discussions and potential legislative efforts to reinstate the child tax credit payments. There's speculation that these payments could be channeled through the FedNow program, which enables instant payments and provides the government with detailed information about spending habits. This could potentially be used to restrict certain expenditures. In summary, the child tax credit payments are up for debate, but there are no guarantees. They could be tied to the FedNow program, and the amount of these payments may not reach the previously discussed figures. The situation is fluid, and negotiations are ongoing, with some lawmakers suggesting that the child tax credit might be one of the first things to be cut. Stay tuned for updates. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing for more updates. See you in the next video.